Hey folks, I'm Rob.
And I'm Nathan.
And we are Two Guys in a Ride. Today we're excited to bring you another virtual car show featuring the garages, collections, and owners out at the Chanhassen Autoplex.
The Chanhassen Autoplex features a monthly summer car show the last Saturday of every month from April through September. Unfortunately, due to current circumstances, the May in-person car show has been canceled.
Well, that's where we come in. The good folks over at the Autoplex invited us to film several garages and see the collections and meet the owners. That's where we're headed right now.
But before we do, every month the Autoplex gives back to a different charity. And this month's charity recipient is Happy Tails Rescue of Minnesota.
Happy Tails is a non-profit organization dedicated to rescuing homeless and abandoned animals.
By working with committed volunteers, foster homes, local veterinarians, trainers, and boarding facilities, they are able to rescue dogs and cats, providing them with loving temporary care until a well-matched and carefully screened forever home can be found.
So please consider making a donation at tailsrescue.org.
Also, give us a like and click on the subscribe button down below and ring the bell notification so you never miss a video.
That's right. So what do you say, Nate?
Oh, let's go for a ride.
Hey folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys in a Ride, and today we are out here at the Chanhassen Autoplex doing some garage virtual tours again. If you haven't watched our first 9 virtual tours, click on the link above and you can take a look at those. Today I'm out here with Roland. Roland, thank you so much for having us in your garage.
No, you're welcome. It's a pleasure. You know, I enjoy cars, and I enjoy people that enjoy cars, so it's fun.
So let's start with that. What was your draw into cars?
Well,
why did you get interested in it?
Well, you know, I think very young I had an older brother who was really into cars, and he pretty well knew all the different models and engines and stuff like that, and you kind of you know, learn from him, you know, and you just kind of got attached to that, learned to drive a car early, and gradually just got more interested, you know, in Porsches. That's kind of my passion is what you'll see here in the garage is kind of what I do like, you know, so.
Well, you know, I was commenting to you earlier, I don't know that I've seen more Porsches in one spot other than a dealership.
Yeah.
So, Roland, you do have a working garage here where you do some basic things.
Yeah, we do. We do some basic work with, you know, the wheels and cleanup and some smaller things, you know. Other more important things to actually go to different, you know, different places, you know, Bob View's place and different places like that. But for the most part, little stuff we take care of, you know. It's kind of fun, you know, just.
Yeah, give you a little something to do while you're visiting.
Exactly.
And then underneath the loft up there, of course, you have more of your work area. You know, and I like the way every owner does it differently. Sure. I like the way you set it off with the different colors in there. But you've got a lot of pictures up here. So there are some, you know, a lot of, obviously there are the Porsche pictures, but there's some really cool ones up here on the stairs. Can you tell us a little bit about these ones up here on the stairs?
Yeah, well, you know, they're actually pictures of movie stars who actually are also were involved in racing. And of course, Paul Newman, everyone knows him. He actually spent some time at Brainerd, believe it or not, racing there.
Really?
In Brainerd, yep, he did. And then, of course, Steve McQueen, you know, Mr. Cool, he definitely was one of the #1 guys who did a lot of serious racing. James Gardner is the other smaller picture. There's actually a local artist, you know, that there was some fundraising events, and I was able to purchase several, and then I actually got her to do a few for me too. So she's very talented.
So the paintings that you purchased, the money actually went to
charity. Yeah, for sure.
That's just really neat.
Yeah.
So there are some unique features about the Porsche pictures that you have on your wall. So tell us about those.
Yeah, well, you know, I have a patient actually His last name is Lunderby, and he's a photographer. So he came out and he said, you should put some of your own pictures of your own cars on the wall. So we took some pictures, and that's the 74 right here. And then his daughter kind of made this collage here of the 4 cars. She took some other pictures. We had the cars lined up, and she kind of made that. And it looked kind of cool, kind of a cool looking deal that she did herself. And there again, you'll see, the 68, the 70, 74, and then the turbo.
All right, so let's step back here a little bit into kind of more of your sort of your work area, and you have something kind of tucked away from that is not a Porsche.
Yeah.
So I think you said this was a Cushman?
It's a Cushman Eagle. It's a 1957 Cushman Eagle that was completely restored.
All right, so over here in the rest of your garage, of course, you've got a nice TV down here if you want to watch something.
Yeah, watch the sports and stuff. When we get our sports back, we definitely watch into the baseball games and watching the Twins while we're ditzling around and stuff, or the Vikings or whatever.
It's nice to have that.
Yeah, and upstairs we have it too, where upstairs you have the TV up there too. So it's kind of like I kind of call it an urban cabin.
So just quickly over here now, you of course just got some working tools back here, and then behind the blue door.
Yeah, we actually have air compressor, for compressor tools and stuff, and other temperature control for water and stuff too,
And then behind the white door is a little bit more storage.
A closet, and we also have the floor is heated, so we have the controls for the floor. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. I like how that's separated off. So let's talk about your cars.
Okay.
So, and I think we'll kind of go chronologically as best as we can.
Sure.
And we'll start here with
yeah, this actually is a 1969 911E. And it's a really unique car because it's totally original. It's original paint.
Okay.
It only has 37,000 miles on it.
Wow.
Very unique story. I purchased it actually from a guy, a retired military guy in Duluth, Minnesota. Okay. And he had the car for 27 years, and then another guy had it 15 years before him, and didn't drive it very much. And he initially had it, and he was going to save it for his son.
Okay.
And the sad story was that his son was becoming a pilot, and he crashed at age 21 and died.
Oh,
so tragic. It took a few years for him to eventually let it go, but he eventually did, and it had been kind of in storage. So I got it out and put everything back, just redid everything, and it's just like a brand new car now. In fact, it's totally original. I did replace the inserts on the seats. It's pretty much the only thing I replaced. Everything else is totally original, paint and all. It's got some patina on the front, but people say, don't mess with it, leave it like it is.
That's part of the beauty of it.
It's only original once, yes. So we do, and it runs like a top, And
so you do drive these cars?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not just like once in a blue moon. These are exercised and used.
Yeah, we try to drive them some. Obviously, with so many, it makes it a little more difficult, and
So if anyone's looking for a part-time job,
exactly.
looking for a Porsche driver.
I need someone to come with me and drive, because it becomes. I'll take them out, and I get my sons, but of course, them two, they're now married. They got their kids and stuff, so it becomes a little bit more. My buddy Ed, who's way up there in the corner, he's my main guy who helps me out with so much here with the cars and keeping them up and getting the maintenance on them and stuff like that. So he's my right hand guy with all these cars.
It's always nice to have a right hand guy.
Yep.
So let's move over to the white Porsche.
Yeah, this white one's a 1968, and it's a 912, and this was the car where when Porsche decided to increase the horsepower, they went to a 6-cylinder engine. And the 912, they had some leftover engines for what we call the 356s, which is kind of the turtle car, which was a 4-cylinder engine. And so what they winded up doing is they wound up putting the 4-cylinder engine in the same body style as the 911. And it made it a little cheaper because it was and it actually turned out to be very competitive because it was lighter. It actually could on racing, it could actually beat some of the 911 6-cylinders because it's much lighter.
All right, so then moving to the car next we go up a little bit in years.
Yeah, and these are kind of what kind of got me stimulated with cars was the 914, and initially the 914 was, kind of it was kind of like the redheaded stepchild for Porsche because they kind of had joined up with Volkswagen, and so they had Volkswagen engines. They had up to a 2-liter, but Volkswagen engines, so they said it wasn't a true Porsche. But Porsche did make around 3,000, there were a couple of years, and they actually put the Porsche engine into it, and it's very nice because it's a mid-engine car. And it got to the point that the car was so nice with a 6-cylinder engine that they felt it was going to be competitive with the 911, and so they only made it for 2 years. So the 6-cylinders are pretty unique. There's not a whole lot of them around. This is actually a car that, again, pretty much original engine. I try to keep pretty much everything the same. The wheels are different, although I have the original wheels over there.
Okay.
But other than that, it's pretty much original. It has been repainted.
So you got another 914.
Yeah,
Tell us about this one.
This is a really unique car in that it is a 914-6. So it was a 6. However, it's been modified. And Porsche, they had the 914-6 they used for racing, and they kind of called them the 916s, and they only made 11 of them for racing.
Okay.
Now this is not an original one, but this is a clone built like the original one. So it has these very wide, you'll notice the wide fenders, steel wide fenders, and then it also has the dash has five gauges instead of 3, which is the 911 gauges. It also has a much larger engine. This engine here is a 3-liter engine that has been modified, and the normal 914 had about 125 horsepower. This one has 284.
Wow.
So you can imagine, and they're not very heavy cars. They're around 2,000 pounds, and this one has been lightened up a little bit more. And I want to show you the front part, which is kind of unique because this car was basically designed for racing. And in building it, it just got too pretty, and so it basically it's a street racer. So it does have the fuel cell and stuff, and then extra oil coolers. And you can look, every bolt has been redone in this car. I mean, you can, every little bolt's have been, and the project got so good that I just run it just for street now. But it could be raced. It has a lot of power. And then back here is actually a trunk, believe it or not. Let me get these things open here. And it's basically a small trunk, and so it's a trunk.
Actually,
and this has what we call
you got a lot.
Yeah, it's dual ported heads, so it has 2 spark plugs per cylinder, which again, it's all horsepower,
Okay.
And it literally, this car literally screams.
Up to the front, because I think that's where chronologically, I think that's where we go next.
Yeah. This is a 1974 911, and this is a clone in a sense that they actually had one called the RS, which were unique cars, and they're super. So it's a 1974, and it does have, this is one of the only cars that I have that has a different engine. And this one has actually, they had a 2.7 engine, and Porsche, most of their engines are really good, but the 2.7, which had a magnesium case, was known for a lot of oil leaks, and a lot of heads would get loose and a lot of problems.
Okay.
And the 74 and even the 73 had that same engine, which was a good engine, but unfortunately it had some problems. So when I got this car, it had either rebuild the engine. So what I wound up doing, I put a newer 3.2 engine in it with fuel injection. You can see it has the white with the red interior, which is kind of good for Porsche.
I like the gauges. I like the white background.
Yeah. So this has been redone a little bit. And again, it runs really nice too, and it's just nice because it has fuel injection, and again the solid doors.
Oh, absolutely. All right, and then we go over on this one.
Yeah, this is actually, believe it or not, this when you talk about value for cars and Porsches, these cars have really gone up in value. The air-cooled cars. It just it's only so many of them out there. This is this is the most expensive car in the lot here. Okay. This one actually was the first year of the turbo, 1976, and they called it the Turbo Carrera. And they got turbocharged cars. It was unique, and unfortunately, it had a bit of turbo lag.
Okay.
And because of that, some people that would be driving, they would just step on it, and it'd be a little delay, and then all of a sudden it would just hit, and they'd lose control. So it has the nickname the Widowmaker, because some people would flip it. This car, they only made 500. A little more than 500 for the world.
Really?
So it's a unique car.
Unique and rare.
Unique and rare, exactly. And believe it or not, back in 1976, back when you could buy like a Chevy Nova or one of those cars for like about $3 to $4 grand, it was $28,000. back in the day. And when Porsche had them, they made a small, they didn't think they were going to be able to sell them, and of course they sold them all. But you know, if you look at the extrapolation of prices from that, you know, it was a very expensive car back in the day. And it's been totally redone. It was actually here locally. It's a Texas car. It's my brother's car. My brother, retired judge, and we brought it up here. And Bob View, who's a very well-known Porsche guy, they did all the mechanicals and stuff. And then we had the paint done here and everything, and so everything's been done. And if you look at it inside, it's been totally. And what we did here too, we basically kept it completely the same. It's still the Widowmaker. We didn't change anything on the engine, any part that we required, we sent to Germany to get it and to make sure everything was replaced exactly, you know, as it was. This one is a 91. And this car, believe it or not, did belong to Bob View. I bought it from him. Okay. and it's a 91 turbo, and it has been modified a little bit. That he did little suspension changes on it. Okay. And of course the wheels aren't the original wheels, and he did the little air effects on it. And I've had it for quite a few years. And it again is just kind of the white tan, and very nice. These turbos are, if you say which are my favorite ones, there's no question that the turbos. I've always liked that wide look on it with the wide fenders, you know, and I think that look, as you can see, 76 to 91 to 92. I mean, there's not a lot of body changes, you know. They kind of got onto something good, and they stayed with. They kind of changed the different spoilers, you know, as you can see the different spoiler there, and then of course the engines they upgraded the engines to a little bit more horsepower.
Right, so what do we have with
this is the 92, it's the brother, you know, and this is the typical, you know, black turbo for Porsches. That's like the right color, you know. The black turbo is the right color. And so this is a 92, and pretty much the same again, you know, pretty much the 91, 92. However, 92, they only had like they only made like 330 of them to the U.S., so there weren't very many imported. So it's a unique number on that one, you know. So that's definitely a low number for cars. Yeah. And the turbos, you know, one thing too for Porsche, they're usually the Model 2 that pretty much has the best of everything. They have the best brakes, they have the best engine, they have the best suspension. You know, they always put the best into the turbo.
Backwards from the 90s to what
is this? 1988. It's a 944. You know, and they call it the Turbo, and it was a Turbo S, and that's where Porsche, you know, later on you'll see some of these other cars, they added the S, you know, to get even more. They add just a little extra, you know, the little extra. And this is an 88, and you know, the 944s, they kind of don't get the respect for them because they're actually, at one time, they were the most horsepower per cylinder for any Porsche. And this one actually has more horsepower than normal. Most of them had like 250. This one has like over 400 horsepower.
Oh, it's been tweaked a little. Look at that.
The granddaddy of the water pool cars.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's head upstairs.
Yeah, sure. So this is kind of the upstairs loft, and you know, has a nice little kitchenette. You know, has a little fireplace if you need. You got the TV and the music and stuff, and then it actually has a built-in bathroom, also shower, and we're pretty lucky that we're right on the corner, so we get a nice little view outside.
You get an extra view that other places
that may not get. Yeah, this is my wife Sammy. Yeah.
Both of you, thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. And there's a little bathroom and a shower. Even has a little balcony outside on the backside too. You know.
But I mean, this is nice. It's so fun to see the different things between the garages, but having it closed off almost gives you a little bit of a cabin feel.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that you have a corner lot makes it even better.
Yeah, a little better views and stuff too.
Better views, and you've got windows out into the garage, so you can look.
Yeah, see what's going on outside.
You can open the windows and yell at your husband if you need to, or drop things on them.
Yep, or knock on the window. What are you doing?
But you got all the comforts at home.
There's also a little balcony out here, so when there are events, you know, if people don't want to walk around, they can just come out to the balcony out here and just kind of see all the action of what's happening out here, you know.
If you had to pick a favorite thing, and it can just be like, I like coming out here, but what would be one of your favorite things about having this garage?
Well, you know, again, I think it is somewhat secluded, and you know, so you can come out and do some work if you want to, and then again, you know, just regular work, or not just, you know, work on the cars, just kill some time, just like a hobby. It's kind of my hobby, I'll be honest with you, you know.
Well,
So,
thank you so much
for sure.
for having
Yeah.
us out in your garage, for taking your time to show us that,
Yeah.
and upstairs in your loft. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you. It's fun. Yeah. Thank you.